Hi, this is Josh Spicer from GameWisdom.com. Hope you enjoyed this critical thought, a detailed discussion on game design, and be sure to subscribe and you can pitch future critical thought topics. Alright, for today's critical thought, we're going to talk about the concept of lunch break styled game design. And this is a term that has been thrown around in the casual and indie space for the last few years. And while it may still fall in the casual side, it can lead to some very interesting games meant for a short experience. And I want to talk about the three main points and the pros and cons of the design. So the first point, as the name should suggest, is that this is built around short engagements or short playthroughs. A typical lunch break style game will go between probably like a soft 15 to 20 minutes to a hard stop at about 40 to 45 minutes. Hence the name lunch break style games. And the idea is that this is something that you can play whenever you have a spare time, whenever you need to kill some time or unwind. You sit down, you play it, and then you get back to work or get back to your daily routine. Now, while a lot of games can boast having very short plays, or something that you can get in and get out very quickly, the second point of lunch break style games is what really starts to limit what can be considered. And that is, in that single play, you are still getting a complete experience. Meaning, within that 15 to 40 minutes, you will see the very start to the very end of your play. You're not going to have to come back for a second or third play. There's not going to be, 30 hours of post-game content. Within whatever you're going to sit down and play, that's it. So games like Civilization, Europa Universalis, and even 8 to 10 hour long action games, of course, don't apply here. And another major point, and what kind of will limit this from multiplayer style games, is that while a multiplayer match may only last in some games like 5 to 10 minutes, the game itself is designed around keeping you in for the long haul. As in, you're going to unlock new content, you're going to change things up as you play. With a with a lunch break style game, everything is encompassed in that one single play. So you're going to get a complete run through of this title, and all the mechanics and systems of the game are going to be represented. You can have unlockables, as in, new clothing options, achievements, stuff like that. But this isn't a case where I can't play your full game, or there's a brand new system that I need to play at least 6 hours before I get to. Again, everything is compacted down into this single play. And while that may sound limiting, the third point is what drives the point home. And that is that lunch break style games are very replayable. And this is why a lot of roguelite and roguelike games have made use of lunch break style design. As in, they know you're going to repeat the game. So instead of forcing you to spend 5 to 10 hours of losing progress, it's basically within those 20 to 40 minutes, you die, you restart, and not a whole lot of time has been lost. And with the Infinite World, or with the Weird World's Return to Infinite Space series, because all the events are randomly selected and the galaxy is procedurally generated at start, it's designed to make those 20 to 40 minutes of play be completely different each time you go through it. And sometimes there's mega events that can shake things up and change that single run, but you're not going to get it every time. And this is where this kind of lunch break style design really comes into its own. Because everything is compact down into a single play, it means that you're not going to leave this thinking, oh, I need to come back to this and finish my game. Basically, in that single sit, you can get the entire game experience. And it leads into a different kind of play compared to longer titles. It's a difference between playing one game for 10 hours from start to finish, with progression, achievements, and the whole running of the title, versus playing a game for 20 to 30 minutes, but you're going to play it for 10 hours with those 30-minute long breaks or sections. Something like The Binding of Isaac would very much be close to this kind of lunch break style game, even though it has a lot in terms of game-changing unlockables. Now, the beauty of lunch break style games, again, is that it really affords a complete package for people who don't necessarily have 2 hours, or who, for someone who plays something like Civilization, 10 to 20 hours to commit to a single play. And again, being able to get an entire experience in 30 to 40 minutes is far more appealing than saying you're not going to see the end for 10 to 15 hours. And again, compacting the design down to the single plays is also great from a design point of view, because it allows you to maximize your game without thinking about, oh, I need to build this to be 5 hours long, even though maybe someone can only enjoy this for 20 to 30 minutes at a time. And again, the replayability really allows this to, again, keep people coming back to it again and again. Something like Desktop Dungeons could be an example, and the game that I've been recently playing, Monster Slayers, as well. Now, once again, though, you can play this game, you can sit down and play 4 or 5 hours if you want, but it's the fact that the single play is only 30 to 40 minutes is what keeps it popular. Now, that said, there are some obvious design limitations behind lunch break style games that we want to talk about. The first is that it's still kept very much on the simplistic side. Like I said at the start, very much the casual market has really embraced this kind of lunch break style games, especially the mobile scene. Something you can play while you're waiting for the bus, you're on the train, you're, waiting for your kid to get done at the doctor's office, anything like that. But again, no matter how replayable you make it, if your game is only designed around 20 to 40 minutes of play, it's still going to lead to a limited experience. It's going to be replayable, but there's only so much, blood you can get from a stone, I guess, in a matter of speaking. And that's the second point. In an earlier critical thought and a post I did on Game Wisdom, I talked about the different kinds of variations that you can see in random and procedurally generated games. I forget the exact terminology I use, but it reminds me of when I talk about hard and soft choices. So, a soft variation would be something like changing the floor plan of the level, choosing where items spawn around. A hard variation would be the biome, the kinds of resources that you can use, and of course what kind of enemies can appear. The point behind lunch break style games is that they are very much built on soft variations, meaning that they're more or less shuffling things around but not generating brand new stuff. And because of that, there is an inherent limit in terms of how much someone can play before they've really seen it all. Yes, the level design may be different or what kind of things they'll see, but because they're all pulling from the same hard list of variations, it's not really changing how someone plays it. When I talked about Spelunky and the Dissecting Design, I mentioned that even though the game technically can just keep spawning levels infinitely, there is a limit of how much before you really have seen it all. And I eventually just got tired of playing Spelunky. But again, that was after like 50, 60 hours, so I definitely got my money's worth there. But that is the inherent limitation behind lunch break style games, is that no matter how replayable you make it, eventually people are just going to get tired of it. And then the third point that I want to talk about, or the third con, is that there is definitely that kind of snubbing, I think, from some people about lunch break style games. Again, you're not going to be getting a very deep experience. You can have somewhat complicated systems, such as in Monster Slayers with the deck building and CCG aspects. But again, these aren't titles designed around long engagements. And while this will attract someone who likes those 30 to 40 minute sprints, if someone is looking for something that they can, sit down and just dedicate an entire afternoon, or who knows, maybe they have like 6-7 hours free to a single game, they're going to eventually get bored. But like I said, that's not really the market or the audience for lunch break style games. It's for people who are looking for something that doesn't require a huge time commitment, but still gets a full experience, and they can keep coming back to it again and again. Now, that said, we'll wrap things up here. So to quickly summarize, lunch break style design is built on being very replayable, built around a short play, but is still complete enough or compact enough that someone sees everything that your game has to offer in that single play. Like we said, casual games are very popular, as well as roguelite variations. And for those of you watching this, can you think of other examples of lunch break style games that I didn't mention here that are great examples of this, or something that managed to hook you? Let me know in the comments below, but otherwise, thank you so much for watching today's Critical Thought. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and check back for daily discussions on design here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and come back around 10 Eastern for regular streaming. For a collection of my writings, as well as weekly podcasts on game development, be sure to check out game-wisdom.com. Follow me on Twitter at GWBicer for updates throughout the day. And to help support everything that I do, you can find me on Patreon under GWBicer or Game Wisdom. Your donations can help to keep things running, and we hit some goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy. So, thanks again for watching, and be sure to come back for daily discussions on game design on the Game Wisdom channel.